for the 56 years of Malaysia's independence, which will be soon celebrated.
Alright, welcome back. If you're just tuning in, watching us, Zamila and Zailha. And our topic right now is talking about saving your marriage. How we can actually save our marriage, the institution that you build in a marriage to not end up in a divorce.
Yeah, so when the vows are broken, when the vows are pretty much distorted, when you go from there, it's never an easy way to actually walk through this really challenging path.
Exactly. Whatever happened from till death do us part to
the last credit card or to the last trust fund. We would like to welcome Dato Dr. Arunan Selvaraj. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes.
This was just released recently. What prompted you to come up with this? This is...
Well, the Asian society, you find a lot of people shying away from, it's like a social stigma. They find it very difficult to approach people and discuss issues of divorce. So I've condensed everything and put it in this book, so it's easier for people to actually read it at their own time.
Any differences that you've seen as compared to the Asian scenario and the Western scenario?
Difference in what
when it comes to dealing with crisis, taking separate ways, or taking counselling.
Yeah, in the Western society, things are very different. Things are more open. There's more awareness, and people are more daring. They discuss things openly. Whereas in the Asian society, people shy away from issues like this.
Because it can be some form of a
social stigma.
Exactly.
And even when I give my talks overseas, and I find a lot of people asking me questions. But in Malaysia, unfortunately, during the tea break, you have someone come and whispering to you and asking one or two questions.
It's the ego and safe face thing going on.
They give the impression that everything's okay, but actually it's not.
And you've been handling this for the past 16 years as a lawyer, right? So, do you think that divorce is always the last resort to a marriage? Or is there always hope for if they do go for counselling?
Yeah, counselling I feel is very important, and you always have a third party looking at the whole thing.
Yeah.
And but like I was saying, the Asian society people they don't want to discuss their problems with others, and especially men, they shy away. They say, why should we discuss our problem with a third party?
Yes,
that kind of thing.
the ego.
Yeah, the ego issue. But I think it's so important because when you do that, you got nothing to lose basically, You just get a third party to listen to what you got to say, and then that will probably help the situation.
Dato, chapter 14, the money war. People say money makes the world go round, love makes the world go round. Money unfortunately is always one of the major causes why marriage falls apart.
Yeah, especially if both husband and wife earns, right? They are income earners.
Yeah, financial issue is not necessarily the main issue. It's one of the causes, but sometimes there's so many other factors that can lead to the divorce. But financial issues will sometimes aggravate the whole situation, and sometimes it's the wife feels he doesn't have enough, and then the husband feels he's giving too much.
Right.
So it comes back to counselling, So you see a third party who will actually be able to balance the whole thing for you.
If we have couples who are watching this today and start asking why should we open up to a third party, they don't know anything. Here we are sitting in an office on the couch telling us intimate stories of what's happening, the conflict back home, and now we have kids here in the picture. How do you overcome this invisible barrier?
See, when I say get counselling from third party, I'm not saying just from a friend or anything like that, and you don't have to go into intimate details. You just have to get professional advice, professional counselling, people who have seen this, and they will be able to analyze the whole situation and tell you exactly what to do. But you don't necessarily have to follow what they say. You can just listen to what they say, and if it works out, it works out.
One of the causes which I like to highlight, I think Annie would be very, very happy to talk about this, is about domestic violence.
Abusive relationship.
How prevalent is this in Malaysia, and how do we actually try to avoid or abstain from that?
Well, it's very rampant now in Malaysia, as you know, and the studies show that people who are actually domestic violence victims, in a relationship where it's in an interdependent relationship, on a long-distance relationship, long-term relationship. So people who, the victims, the sad part is the victims, they don't really know that they're victims. They don't feel that they're victims,
Right.
They feel that, everything is fine.
They accept it.
Exactly. And likewise, the abuser, he doesn't necessarily look very aggressive.
Yeah.
And, he doesn't look big, or he just looks like a normal
Sometimes
person.
very timid. Like the Malays will say, "Macam sebut pun tak mati."
Yeah. Dato, let's talk about the fear factor. Sometimes they don't. Physical abuse is one thing, but other than that, they will always try to expand between. Oh, if you do this, I'm going to go and kill your mom. If you do this, I'm going to take the kids away. They instill fear.
See,
so that's...
what happens is initially they start off by seducing the person or charming the person. The next step is to isolate the person. So the person, the victim, doesn't get to be with other people. And the third one is exactly like what you said just now, is where they start instilling the fear. Okay, instilling the fear, not necessarily, directly doing it. You can just buy a gun and put it in the drawer for her to see. So that's indirectly doing it,
Okay. Before the parents or the husband and wife decide to actually go for divorce, how would you advise them to think about how it will affect their children?
Children, okay. See, the thing is, some children have this complex. It's a behavior. It's called Oedipus complex, where the men they tend to have this thing about their mother.
Yes.
They set a standard and they expect the bride. The men, they expect the bride to be like the mother, to follow the mother, and mother is like the benchmark. So when things don't work out, that's when if they don't marry or they eventually end up in divorce. Likewise for ladies, the father is like the hero worship the father.
The pillar of the family.
So that's known as Electra. So they have this behavior where it's complex. And they feel like the person must be like the father. The father is the benchmark.
A complete guide right here. I mean, you can get a lot of objective advice from this book. Where can we get this book, Dato?
And how much?
It's $39.90.
Okay.
It's available at all the major bookshops, MPH, Borders. And the proceeds, my share of the book is going to the National Cancer Society and also the Malaysian. The National Blind Association of Malaysia.
Very gracious of you. Thank you so much for coming up with this. Thank you so much for this, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Don't forget, Saving Your Marriage by Dato Dr. Arunan Selvaraj. Well, we're talking about books. October 1st is going to be the exciting event organized by the National Library of Malaysia, where we will be giving recognitions to our authors in the country, where you get to nominate your favorite books. On the National Library's website, go to www.pnm.gov.my.
Who knows, this book might be nominated.
Give your suggestions and recommendations on the website. So we'll share more updates on who wins the award later on. So thanks for joining us on Monday.
Yep, Zamel and Zaliha signing off for the day. We wish you a pleasant day ahead. Take care, everyone.
Double Z out.